Gloucester and the sea, the people, the architecture, the light have always drawn and inspired artists. Edward Hopper, Winslow Homer, Fitzhenry Lane, and for 150 years the Cape Ann Museum has kept their art and their stories alive.
I think one of the really unique things that we are able to do is that we are a place-based museum. The Cape Ann Museum exists to tell the story of Cape Ann as a singularly unique and very inspiring place.
And the story they are telling now has never been told, and many of the paintings have never been seen. It is a story of friendship and mentorship. It is Avery, Gottlieb, and Rothko by the sea. Eliza Rathbone is guest curator.
It's really a lovely story of friendship. They supported each other enormously. They weren't rivals. They were mutually admiring and supportive, and the two younger ones initially just wanted to do whatever Avery was doing. They followed his lead. They followed him technically.
Milton Avery began visiting Gloucester in the 1920s, painting its beaches, its bathers, and boats. Mark Rothko and Adolph Gottlieb, 2 decades younger, would join him in the early 1930s to leave the haze and humidity of a New York summer to relax and study with Avery.
Avery was an example to them not only as an artist, but also for the life he was living as an artist, not necessarily making any money as an artist, but pursuing it anyway.
Laid out chronologically, the exhibit shows Avery's early representational scenes of Gloucester life, with Gottlieb and Rothko following suit. But then you see Gottlieb begin to explore surrealism, and Rothko dabble with the backgrounds that would come to form the foundation of his abstract expressionism. Oliver Barker is the museum's director.
If you think about the passage of the 3 decades that this exhibition focuses on, very early on, Avery influenced Rothko and Gottlieb. When they found their footing as artists in the 40s and 50s, they started to influence him.
Fresh off a 20-month, $23 million renovation, which expanded and upgraded some of the gallery spaces, the museum reopened in June of 2026. And it is a testament to the museum's reputation that it was lent works for this exhibit from 16 museums, including the National Gallery, as well as the Guggenheim, the Whitney, and the Museum of Modern Art in New York.
I think that museums could see that this is going to be a major exhibition and that they should support it.
We visited on a Monday when the museum was closed, but the exhibit is already drawing crowds, as are the renovated galleries showcasing Gloucester's maritime history and fishing tradition. The culmination of the 3 artists' works is shown in the final gallery, a breathtaking display of Rothko's well-known and highly valued abstract work, as well as Gottlieb's abstract evolution and Avery's foray into the realm. It is worth taking time to soak it in, as Barker and Rathbone did when we visited. Friends themselves, basking in an untold story of friendship they have helped illuminate.
I hope that a visitor will take away an understanding of what is a really important local story, but a story that has much greater significance. That opportunity to step behind the scenes into the artistic process of these 3 titans of American art and understand how place but also friendship really informed their work.
The sea is an extraordinary element that is there always. It's so alive, and I think that they definitely capture in their work that the sea can be so many different colors. It has so many different moods, and so does the work that they did, inspired by this location.
And the exhibit will be on display until September 27th, when it then moves to the Phillips Collection Museum in Washington, D.C. It is the first time a Cape Ann Museum exhibit will tour to a national museum. Now, because many of the works on display are watercolors, which are extremely sensitive to light, they will be put away for a long time when the exhibit closes. So this is a rare chance to see these works and the story they tell together.